Thanks for joining us today. We're going to be talking about Nepal. Just to get started, to tell you a little bit about Traverse Journeys and who we are. So, I'm Ashley, I'm the founder of Traverse Journeys. And we also have with us Chet today, our local host in Kathmandu. So, he'll be introducing himself in just a little bit. And if you aren't familiar with us, we do small group and custom and self guided tours in about 25 locations. And our mission is people, planet, purpose. So what we mean by that is very people-centered itineraries where you get human-to-human interaction, having positive impact on the local community, keeping in mind the planet and our impact on it, whether we're talking about sustainability or remembering your reusable water bottle, and also appreciating the really beautiful destinations that we visit and having impactful experiences. We partner with a lot of nonprofits around the world. We give a trip donation to each of them, and we do interactive experiences through with people in the community that really do impactful things for their local community, keeping money in that economy. So today we're going to be talking about Nepal. So we'll talk about some background on Nepali society. We'll give you a little cultural overview, talk about the Traverse itinerary and what makes it unique. We go through our itinerary, which includes Kathmandu, Lumbini, and Pokhara. We also do a bit of hiking on the Annapurna Trail, so we'll talk about that trek. We'll also talk about our community partner and give you some safety and travel tips. And then we'll have time for some questions and for a little discount. So, okay, I'm going to hand it over to Chet for a little bit. Chet, can you tell us a little bit about Nepal geography and where it's located in the region?
Right. Hello, Namaste. I'm Mr. Chet Bhatta. I'm a local host here in Nepal for Traverse Journey, and I'm 22 years, the experience of trekking and, the travel here in Nepal. So basically, Nepal is, as you all know, it's a landlocked country, country of Himalayas, country of mountains, obviously country of, friendly and hospitable people. And so we have Tibet, obviously the China at the north, and all the three sides, three other direction is India. So we have, lower valley, the Tarai region, the Lumbini, where we go on our Traverse Journey Nepal trip is one of that area. And we have all the middle valleys like Pokhara or Kathmandu and all the big mountains. One of that is Annapurna Trek that at our Traverse Journey Nepal trip, we are taking people to that.
Perfect. And can you tell us a little bit about just like a few little snippets of history and what makes Nepal unique?
Oh, yeah. Well, obviously, Nepal is a country of heritage and culture. We obviously, we used to have a different, the kingdom ruling the country from time to time. If you see, mainly, the 10 to the 15th centuries, we had a Malla, the dynasty ruling over the country. And after that, we have a Shah dynasty started ruling over the country for about 340 years. And since then, when it was 2008, we changed our political, the scenario. So we changed the kingdom into the Republican state of Nepal. And since then, we have a president and, majority votes from the parliament as a active prime minister. And it's a, Republican state of Nepal now. So we have a long history, and we were always an independent country. We were never colonized by anyone else.
It's a very unique fact about Nepal in the region. Something else, fun fact, if you note the time zone, it's one of the few places that has like a quarter-hour difference in time zone. So it's always quite fun and interesting coordinating phone calls like this one when you're between Nepal. So that's something interesting.
Oh, yeah.
And as far as language and religion, can you just give us a little overview of that, Chet?
Oh yeah, well, Nepali is our, you can say the national language. So Nepali is usually used everywhere in our official, as the official language to all the governmental offices or every everywhere, basically uh, to communicate and write and exchange. But we do also have a lot of local tribe language, over 125 different tribe languages that we have, and these are mostly spoken by the communities people, like ethnic group people who are living in very different region of the country itself. um, Nepali is a very common, speaking by all the different tribe people. So if you see, uh, let's say the Gurung, for example, they speak their own tribe when they talk to their own people, but when they come out to speak with Magar or the Newaris or any other tribe people, they will speak, they speak in Nepali, and so everyone understand and everyone can speak Nepali here. If you see our religions, we are mainly a Hindu, the best country. We used to be a Hindu kingdom, but because the country, changed its political, the status from kingdom to a, republican state. That's why now we are a secular state, but majority, over 81 percentage of our, the population is Hindu. We have about 9 percentage of our population is Buddhist. And remaining are mostly, Muslims and Kirat and Christian communities. Uh, the very unique fact about, our culture is we live in a different, the religious people in one community or in one society, and we have possibly one of the, biggest harmony living in between the different religious people in the world. So in our societies, we have a Buddhist people living, we have a Hindu people living, Christian people living, and Muslims, and we never fight for religions. We have the biggest harmony in our community, in our society. So that's a very unique fact and very important fact that keeps our, the society, very lively and very, wonderful. And we all celebrate everyone's festival, and that's another very, big thing that we do here. All the Muslims celebrate our festival, Hindu festival. All the Hindus celebrate Ramadan, and all the Muslim festival, the Christmas, and all the Christian festival. We all celebrate in the country. So it's really amazing.
Thank you, Chet. Yeah, it's really cool to dive into Nepali culture when you're there because you feel it from the moment you step on the ground. And something we often talk about in our traverse trips is just different types of cultural values. And Nepal is what we would call, this is using Kof Steed, which you can see on the bottom. There's a link if you're interested, but collectivist culture. So people are thinking about the we mentality, versus just me. And you'll find like Hinduism philosophy and the cycle of rebirth, like that comes into a lot of like the festivals and the actions and the traditions that you'll see. You'll also find Nepal being like a place where hierarchy and power distance, it's a term we use in like kind of cultural studies. You'll find that. So you might find yourself being addressed in maybe a really formal way, maybe in a way that is more formal feeling than the US with Mr. or Ms. You'll find a lot of respect people have like places and roles in society. You also find, and this ends up for a very, very interesting topics of discussion with our guides and our host and chat, like there's a different perspective on like rights and acceptance of different rights. And so that comes into a lot of our conversations and learnings while we're there experiencing the culture. Another thing that you'll notice about Nepal is there's a high value on hospitality. Like Chet will be the first one to greet you, and like you'll feel that hospitable spirit like the whole way through. So that's something that we really love about visiting. So just to kind of go a little bit into why traveling with Traverse, we really love slow travel, like taking in the places, getting to know people, having a really immersive experience. We have amazing local connections thanks to Chet and all of his connections. This is definitely not a mass tourism experience. We take small vans and stay in small places and go down the little alleys, very people and planet minded. Chet and his team have numerous types of certifications, environmental, fair trade, and fair rights. We do a lot with artisan craftsmanship. It's something that we love, like mandalas and other kind of artwork that you'll see all throughout Nepal. And of course, learning about ancient history while we're there. So we're going to take you on a little kind of like walk traverse through the itinerary. First, though, I wanted to read you a little bit about what some other travelers had to say. So Nikki, she said, this trip was all I imagined and more. The care and attention to every detail gave us such amazing insights into Nepali natural resources, people, culture, and important nonprofit initiatives. And your partners are first rate. You certainly achieved your core mission on this Nepal trip, and we benefited, both travelers and partners. I'm looking forward to future adventures with Traverse Journeys. And then Letty had to say, I'm not going to pronounce this well, but the Bhuthatna Stupa was fabulous. The monkey temple fun, Shiva's statue, and also, of course, the birthplace of Buddha in Lumbini. I also love the cooking class with the students from the FAB vocational school. The concept and school itself is quite spectacular, and one can see the impact they're making in young people's lives. And we'll be talking about that more. So just a few key things that we do on the trip. So we visit the birthplace of Buddha, have tea with a monk, stay in some village tea houses. When you're trekking the Annapurnas, you'll get a chance to relax in a Himalayan salt pool, at a regenerative ecolodge, get to know the Nepali people through tea, nature, and a cooking class. And then we'll see some key sites in Kathmandu with an experienced guide. So just in terms of what all is included in the itinerary that we're about to talk about, it's 10 nights total stay. We stay like 6 nights in a 3-star boutique hotels, 2 nights in mountain tea houses, which we'll talk a little bit more about what that is. And then we stay in a really nice eco lodge in Pokhara. It's a nice treat at the end. Your airport transfers are included on arrival and departure. And then we do private transit between all of the local excursions and your domestic flights like Kathmandu, Lumbini, Pokhara. And then we have entries to various sites. We have a 3-day guided Annapurna trek, which has an assistant guide and porters, multiple meals, and then some add-on options, including Everest Base Camp and Bhutan. So here is our route. Chet, do you want to kind of give us an overview of this route, and then we'll get into details?
Not a problem. So basically, when we are here in Kathmandu, after having 2 beautiful days with local culture and visit to a wonderful monasteries and Hindu temples and heritage sites, we will fly to Lumbini, which is mostly a southern part of Nepal, towards very closer to India. So that Lumbini is obviously, you all know, the birthplace of Lord Buddha. And so we're going to stay there for night, and we will have a wonderful visit there in Lumbini with monasteries, Maya Devi Temple, which is the birthplace of Lord Buddha, Ashoka Pillar, and some of the wonderful monasteries being built by different Buddhist nations there. One of the unique part that we experience there is tea time with the local monks, which everyone will enjoy that. And then, so spending a southern part in Lumbini, then we'll fly to Pokhara, which will come back to a middle hill range of Nepal. But it's a nice valley, the Lake Valley, along with Phewa Lake. And we're going to have a nice stay there before we hike to a Annapurna, a mini Annapurna trek. So Annapurna, now it's a mountain. We are heading onwards to the west, north of Nepal, like midwest north of Nepal, and 3 days wonderful trek to the Annapurna, the nature and the beautiful mountains, the valleys and terraces and river valleys. And after that, we will be back to Pokhara again, a wonderful stay with our ecological lodge, and we fly back to the Kathmandu and, days here in Kathmandu before we fly back home. So it's the program.
Exactly. And Kathmandu, do you want to tell us a little bit about what we do there, Chet?
Yeah. So in Kathmandu, we are staying at Thamel, which is a very vibrant, this, part of the city. Uh, Often travelers love to say it's a tourist paradise. You all have to come and experience, but it's just amazing, the place to hang out for your evening or for the morning time. We mostly visit, you know, Hindu and Buddhist cultural places. So one of the biggest, the Hindus, the place that we go and visit is a Pashupatinath temple, which is the big Shiva temple. It's it's along with the our holy river Bagmati, where we have a cremation happening, which is a part of the Nepali culture, and it's something very unique, and not every country has it. So it's only here in Nepal and in Hindu culture. So we're gonna see a biggest Hindu temple here in Kathmandu during our tour, and we will also be visiting a Bauddha Nath stupa, which is just a beautiful, the white dome stupa in the city. It has all the Buddhist surroundings, a lot of Tibetan refugees who have been, chased out from Tibet when China took over to Tibet 64 years ago. They're trying to resettle their life here in Bauddhanath, and they are trying to sell you something. So they kind of doing some local trade to keep up their living, and it's completely a Buddhist, pilgrimage site that we're gonna visit at our tour at Bauddhanath. Now after that, Patan is like a beautiful architectural, the temples and the Darbar Square area. It has cluster of temples and historical sites full of artifact, and it's just amazing, the experience visiting those places. And we obviously have a monkey temple, which is also known as a Swambhunath Stupa. It is in the city, a little bit higher in a regular altitude of Kathmandu Valley. You can walk the steps to go uphill to the top of the stupa, and the monkey temple has a lot of local monkeys around. They will smile and welcome you, but make sure that you don't have the bananas or any fruits in your hand, so that they will find a way to jump you and then get those things out. But they will be friendly, just pass by you. You can make some photography, and so the monkey temple offer you a wonderful view of Kathmandu, how Kathmandu is formed, and also you could see all the the green hills that cover the Kathmandu Valley. So overall, this is gonna be a wonderful experience with culture, the people, and you're gonna enjoy some great food that Kathmandu has to offer, including the welcome dinner that we do with the Nepali, the meals, momos, which is everyone knows. It's the beautiful Nepali momos and the Nepali dal bhat, which is a very local cuisine that we have. So this is just the amazing experience that you have here in Kathmandu.
Exactly. Thank you. And then from Kathmandu, as Chet said, we fly over to Lumbini. Do you want to talk a little bit about Lumbini?
Yeah, it's a beautiful place. As we fly, you will see a little bit of mountain, but don't worry, we are heading to the mountain part a little bit later on our itineraries, where you just have a mountain in front of you. But this is a very smooth flight from Kathmandu, the big, capital of Nepal, to a Lumbini, which is, you can already say, capital for the Buddhism. Lumbini is so pilgrimage, very pure. It's the place that Lord Buddha born, so it's the birthplace of Lord Buddha. Um, it's more into the southern part of Nepal, lowland. So usually at the time we will be there at April. It's quite a hot. So it's comparatively to the Kathmandu or the Pokhara, the temperature, it's you can say hot, maybe 32 centigrade. But it has a amazing the sites. Buddhist monasteries. We will be visiting the birthplace of Siddhartha Gautam Buddha, which is a Maya Devi temple where Maya Devi, the mother of Lord Buddha, give birth him there. And you will also walk to the little bit of the sacred garden area where Maya Devi used to walk after giving birth a Lord Buddha, and it has a Ashoka pillar just next to the Devi temple, who we believe Ashok was the one who spread Buddhism all over the world. So that's why it is closer to the Maya Devi. Uh, After enjoying some great these monasteries, we're gonna have uh, tea time with the monk, which is the amazing experience that we have there in the.
Yeah, and this is a very special experience because we get to just sit on the floor and chat and ask questions. And it's really, I mean, enlightening in the best of ways because it's not, it's, we're on such like a ancient holy place and get this experience. So it's one of my favorite things in the entire itinerary. So from Lumbini, we go to Pokhara. So this is where we have our jumping off spot for our Annapurna trek. But first, we get some kind of time there to explore. Do you want to tell us a little bit, Chat, about the local sites in Pokhara?
Oh yeah. So from Lumbini to Pokhara, you will have a exciting flight that will already, give you some wonderful view of Annapura mountain, and that's the place you're gonna walk in next few days time. Pokhara is a beautiful lake city. It has a lot to do for travelers. You can relax to the lake, lake side markets areas. You can walk through the lake bank of Fewa Lake, and you can just feel a very pleasant, the walk through very natural areas, sunset and sunrise at Pokhara with the lake, and then the Annapurna view that you can directly see from Pokhara. It's just amazing. You can see a wonderful, the site of Annapurna from the Pokhara Valley itself, or one of your room that you are staying with us in Pokhara at our hotel. So it's gonna be the wonderful, the place to explore. We are staying there. To, it has some great uh, falls, few monasteries, and at least one cave that we see, and fall, which is the waterfall that comes from water comes from Fewa, goes to the heavy waterfall. The amazing experience to be there. Natural, you will have water to your body, and to see that it's going to be wonderful for the feeling as well. We'll also be seeing a museum, amazing uh, see and explore, and have a with how the complete uh, culture and the mountain uh, previous life, previous uh, so that be a experience. Obviously, some for the evening that you have, you can explore it, just around the night feel of the street, restaurants, and shops, and to enjoy. So it's very, very lively. Uh, that
Thank you, Chat. We were losing you a little bit there, but I hopefully everyone could hear it enough to hear that Pokhara has a lot of great sites that you can see and walk around the lake. There's lots and lots of great like shopping if you want to bring home mementos like a singing bowl or like handmade scarf. There are many things in Pokhara. It's a great place for a little bit of free time. So from there, we start out on our hike in the Annapurna Mountains. Chet, do you want to try talking? And if not, I can just take over for a little bit.
yeah. So the trek to the moon is just amazing. The uh, at our that we drive up and check it up hills, down natural valley, and we you already have a in front of you. This is gonna be and
We're still getting
stuff.
it broken up a little bit. Let me just talk for a little bit and maybe the connection will be a little bit better. But
Okay.
so Chet was telling us about our Annapurna hike, which is just absolutely incredible. So you can see that we have 3 days here and we have it outlined in the itinerary and here, but you're hiking 5, 6, 7 hours a day. The elevation is not too high. I mean, you get to 6,500 feet, so you're not getting like super high elevation. And the mileage isn't actually all that long, but what you will find is there are a lot of stairs. They're either stone steps or like inclines. So we take it at a pace that works for the group. You have lots of time to like take water breaks and see all of the different scenery as you're going along. And as you go, we'll be seeing many of the different mountains in the area. So this is what some of the terrain looks like. You see like incredible rice fields. We have some bridges that we go over, landscapes through little villages that we walk through. We might have some like misty rains. um this is an example of some of the tea houses that we stay at. So many of these tea houses are owned by Tibetans or other local people that live in the mountains, and they have these for trekkers and travelers. And so there tend to be quite basic accommodations, like you have your room and your sink, maybe some hot water, maybe not. And then you'll have dinner and breakfast there, and it's like delicious local food. It might be greens from their garden. And then if we're lucky, we'll get incredible sunsets with views of the mountains or sunrises. So it's a really special experience to be staying in the mountains during the trek. And then after the 3 days, when we come back down from the trek, we give you guys a really nice treat. So we stay at an eco lodge. It's a regenerative eco lodge. It's on a farm. They have a Himalayan salt pool. We do like a 3-course farm meal together. And this is where our community partner comes in. So we partner with an organization called the Fab School, and it's a hospitality vocational program for youth. So we'll do a cooking class together, and then the donation from the trip itself goes to that organization. And then from there, we return to Kathmandu. So it's just a short flight. We give you free time in the afternoon. You might want to wander around a little bit more, grab some more mementos, and then we'll have a final farewell dinner. Always delicious Nepali fare. And then you can depart the next day. So, Chet, do you want to add anything else? Let's see how your connection is.
Oh yeah. Annapurna Trek is just beautiful. That's I want to highlight on it. It's amazing with walking through the nature, many ups and downs, a lot of steps walking up there. So you need to be prepared for that. But it's just a comfortable walking area. So it doesn't have to, you don't have to worry about the heights. We will mostly be walking below 2,500 meters from sea level. Gandruk, that we're going to stay there for night. It's just the best place to see a close up view of Annapurna, the big fishtail, Annapurna South, Himchuli. They are just in front of you, and we're gonna have a wonderful sunset and sunrise views of those mountains when we're gonna stay there at Gandruk. The next day, all the way walk down to the valley, river valley, so the downhills and uphills, and walking through the wonderful Gurung culture, which is a very highlight part of our walking as well in Annapurna. You could see the Gurung people, their culture, the way they dress up, and their daily life that you could see as we walk through. Is another highlight that we have here in Annapurna. Obviously, staying with the Tampus or Australian camp area is a close, it's just covered by all the forest, very natural area, top of the hills. You still have a wonderful view of Annapurna Mountains and the valley and view of Pokhara as well. So it's just amazing, 3 days, a great hike in nature.
Yeah, it really is. And we provide a hiking guide for everyone for preparing for it. So, just a few more things. So, just so you can see kind of what some of the accommodations throughout our trip looks like. Nepali food, very local and seasonal. There's like thali, which are these like plate dishes, curries, momos. We'll like guide you with any street eats and how to be safe. Lots of delicious masala chai and tea. Very easy to do, vegetarian, vegan, dairy free. Um, so those are all of kind of the options. One of the options that we offer, if you're really into trekking and want to do something before our group trip or on customized dates, we have our Everest Base Camp. Chet, do you want to tell us a little bit about the Everest Base Camp trek?
Oh yeah, Everest Base Camp is a name that everyone knows. It's just below the Mount Everest, and it's the complete. It's the base for all the expedition that goes to Mount Everest, and then all the other 7,000 or 8,000 the mountains at the Everest the side. So it's just the amazing part is part of the Khumbu Glacier, but the solid part. So we have a big stone there with the Everest Base Camp, the sign, and we'll be walking there. Obviously, it takes about 8 days slow and steady walk to go to Everest Base Camp. It is a higher altitude trek. So we usually say this is a challenging altitude trek that we have. So it's not like a easy trek or anything like that. So you just need to be prepared. You have to be, prepared by walking and some extra training, such as aerobic training and straining your muscles. It's very important to be fit and train enough to come to this trip. But as we take you to Everest Base Camp, we go slow and steady. That's very important part, and that's the accepted the fact for acclimatization. So every day we hike for 5 to 6 hours, hike slow and steady. Will provide time to enjoy along the hike day, hike time, visit the Sherpa culture, the Sherpa people, and it's just a great Himalayan trek. You're gonna have so many great 7,000 and 8,000 peaks in front of you. You will mostly be walking in Himalayan valleys, wonderful, landscaped areas. The biggest, reward that we have in this trek is the Himalayas, all the big mountains, and the Sherpa people and that culture, including some of the oldest monasteries that they have in this region. And Sherpas are like the greatest people of the earth who lives in uh, high Himalayan region here in Nepal. So it's gonna be a wonderful, you know, uh, trekking in mountain and in Himalayas. So you will love that.
Absolutely. So this is an option if you're interested in a more challenging trek. It's something that you can do independently or you can add on before our Nepal trip with the dates. We also have a Bhutan add-on. It takes place for the group departure right after Nepal. It's very easy to fly from Kathmandu into Bhutan for this for 5 days. We do a sunrise hike up to the tiger's nest. We do a traditional Bhutanese farmhouse lunch, a mountain lodge stay, temple excursions. You get to experience a traditional hot stone bath. So it's a really, really beautiful and unique experience to go to Bhutan as well. So just a few quick travel tips. Actually, Chet, do you want to tell just a little bit about kind of like the seasons and weather, particularly when we're going like in April? Some clothing tips and anything else?
Yeah. April is usually the best time of the year to plan trip to Nepal. So we have planned our trip at the right time of the year. Usually the weather is quite warm in cities. From 26 to 28 degrees centigrade here in Kathmandu, Lumbini gonna have 30 to 32 degree, a little bit, extra hot there in Lumbini. Pokhara temperature will be usually like Kathmandu. When we are there in the Annapurna trek, it's much cooler, so you will enjoy that. But nothing goes negative, degrees, so you don't have to worry. So if you see the best season that we have for Nepal travel is March, April, and May. That's in spring season. And at fall, we have a September, October, and November. So these are the time with the good weather, clear visibility for, overlooking the mountains on our trip. And clothing wise, you can just walk with, you can travel with regular, the city, the clothes, but you will also have to come at least a warmer jumper and a small, mid-weight jacket for your trek to Annapurna. Um, Other than that, regular travel clothes that you have for this, the basic, the travel destination, it will work it out. But you need to have a very good walking boots, as we will be walking through the, alleys on our tour here in cities and walking in Annapurna. You need to have a good walking boots to make, you have a comfortable walking through the trip. Um, Streets are very nice during the spring, like April time, because it's clear. It's usually the cleanest areas, so it's just amazing.
Yeah, thank you. And, just like in terms of safety, people ask, you're typical, like pay attention to what's around you and who's around you and like, being careful late at night. By and large, like your experience in Nepal is quite safe, like especially in the areas that we stay in. So, and then you'll be with our guide throughout with local excursions. And then we provide a welcome pack that tells you all about like your immunizations and where to go for that. The CDC has recommendations. And, in terms of ethical travel, one of the things we talk about is photography and just paying attention to who and what you're taking pictures of. If there's people in there, asking permission before you do that, unless it's like, far away in big groups. So that's something that we like to talk about. So just a few last little things. So options to join us. So we're headed that way in April. We have a few spots left. Also in 2025. We can also do custom dates for 2 or more people year round. We also have our Everest Base Camp dates coming up both in March, April this year and next year, or you can choose your own dates for a private trip. And we've got some discounts. So just a few spots left for April this year if you want to take advantage of that or get going for your April 2025 plans, or if you'd like to do some custom dates. And we have some more events coming up. So we've got Brazil in a couple weeks and Cyprus as well. So thank you so much for joining us today. Chet, thank you for your time. Thanks so much for talking all about Nepal with us. We're super excited for our travels.
Oh, thank you so much. It's so wonderful to be a part of this discussion, and I thank you once again for the Nepal trip, and the people enjoyed it very much. So we're gonna have a wonderful time together.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Bye,
All right,
everyone.
thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.